5 years after the FBI began investigating corruption in Cuyahoga County government, 4 years after federal agents raided county offices and homes, nearly 2 years after he was arrested, and nearly 5 months after he was convicted, former Cuyahoga County Commissioner Jimmy Dimora heads back to court to find out how much time he'll spend behind bars. Good evening, I'm Danita Harris.
And I'm Lee Jordan. The hearing has been going on since 9:30 this morning, and arguments are still happening 7.5 hours later. Police Chief Investigator Ron Regan, who's been covering the county corruption story from the beginning, is live outside the courthouse tonight. Ron, still no sentence.
No, still nothing. What has been going on all day has been really a down in the weeds and very nitty-gritty assessment of exactly how much value of the bribes, actually monetary value, Jimmy Dimora is obligated to repay the federal government. But let me back up here. I got here at 7:30 this morning. At 8 o'clock, Jimmy Dimora arrived in an orange prison jumpsuit inside of a wheelchair. And just after that, his family came in. And as you're going to see here in the video, you see his wife, Lori Dimora, and their 3 children coming into the federal courthouse here. Now, interestingly, Mrs. Dimora, we are told by sources, is not going to address the court on behalf of her husband, despite a very impassioned letter that she did write the judge. We are told that his 3 children are anxious to address the court, and that could happen within the next hour. Now, Mr. Dimora, let's get back to him for a minute. He's been in a federal prison in Youngstown since he was convicted in March. He has dropped some pounds. He looks thinner in the face. He arrived, as I said, in a wheelchair, but then came into the courtroom with the aid of a walker. His attorneys have said that he has some serious health problems. Now, what's going to happen in the next hour, we anticipate they're going to wrap up what's called the evaluation of the bribes. Earlier today, they realized and came to a conclusion that Mr. Dimora is going to have to pay back about half the value of his home. That's about $200,000, $122,000 of his state pension. But now they're getting down into, well, really, what was the value of all of those bribes? And they've been going back and forth all day trying to come up with an appropriate dollar figure. The government assesses one figure, and Mr. Dimora's attorneys are arguing another figure. But I think we're about at the end of that rope. And now we anticipate that Mr. Dimora and family members and some family and friends will be speaking. We'll, of course, be here live when Judge Sarah Leoy finally imposes sentence, we believe, at the end of the day. Reporting live from the federal courthouse in Akron, I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.
So, Ron, you believe that we will get a sentence yet this evening, and it's not going to continue until tomorrow?
There's a possibility, but my personal feeling on this is that they have brought family and friends down here. They have persevered throughout the day. Judge Leoy has been very much a jurist who wants to move things through, and I don't believe, based on being here throughout the trial, that she wants this to move into another day. Everybody's down here, and if it requires staying another hour or two, my guess is that that's probably what she's going to do. We're, of course, going to be back with you at 5:30 and again at the top of the 6 with the very latest.
Okay, Ron, we'll see you soon then. Thanks very much. Here's a breakdown of how we've gotten to this point. It all started in 2007 when the FBI began its probe into possible government corruption. Then in July of 2008, investigators raided Cuyahoga County offices, Dimora's home, and other locations. It was another 2 years before Jimmy Dimora was arrested. That was in September of 2010. Testimony in his trial began on January 11th of this year. He was convicted on 33 of 34 counts on March 9th. And now a judge is hearing arguments before handing down the sentence for Jimmy Dimora.
News Channel 5 and NewsNet5.com have been keeping you up to date on this story from the beginning. We'll bring you the latest from today's sentencing hearing, both on air and online. Stories from the courthouse have been on our website all day, and we will continue to bring the latest on the county corruption investigation as it happens. News Channel 5 has crews inside and outside the courtroom right now. Count on us to bring you Jimmy Dimora's sentence as soon as it is handed down on air and online.